Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Inga Cotton. I'm the founder and executive director of San Antonio Charter Moms, and these are Charter Moms chats. And we've been going live to share information that families need to help their kids get a great education. And today we're talking about a great opportunity for enrichment, especially in math, coding, science, but most of all, math. And our guest today is somebody who loves math. Her name is Hannah Guan, and she is a junior at Basis San Antonio Shavano Campus. And she's also the founder of San Antonio Math Include, which is a nonprofit, and they've been providing camps and tutoring opportunities for students to learn, make up for learning loss during the pandemic. And the amazing thing is, it's all student run and all student team members. And so it's just really inspiring to see young people seeing a need and being so creative to meet the need. So Hannah, welcome.
Yeah, no, it's definitely my pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to. Oh, I wanted you to mention that there's a guest post up on the blog today that Hannah wrote, and there's a link to that post in the description of the video. So if you're coming to the video first, I encourage everybody to click on the link or go to sachartermoms.com, and we're featuring that post today. But as I was reading your post, Hannah, I was struck by the fact that you're observing what's happening in education, and that there's these learning gaps. And so I was wondering, like, what have you noticed about the education situation, both from like the school you go to, the like Title I school where you volunteer, what are you noticing happening during the pandemic, and how did that inspire you to kind of fill that need?
Yeah, so basically, well, everyone knows that during the pandemic, most, if not all schools went online completely for like basically an entire school year. And I know that for me, as long as many of my classmates, it was super hard to like focus online. You had your phone right next to you. You would go on like Instagram, TikTok during class when the teacher got too boring or whatever. You would be like right next to your bed. So it's really easy to just, kind of fall asleep during class. So, I just realized that during the pandemic, students are gonna especially need a ton of help, first of all, like focusing on their schoolwork and sort of like setting aside a time where they can just kind of like go at it and hopefully finish all the work that they have for the day. And also, just online, it's also super difficult to teach. You can't really see anyone else's faces if everyone has their cameras off. It's really hard to participate in class, especially if you have like brothers, siblings in the background and you don't want them to be distracting to your classmates. It's really hard to be able to unmute yourself during class. And so I just found that during the pandemic, so many students have struggled learning even when they like have the best intentions at hand. It's just the resources given to them aren't enough. So I really want to help kind of fill that gap and make sure that students, even during the pandemic, are able to catch up to where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And the data I've seen is that especially math scores took the biggest hit, because, like you said, teaching online is really hard for students. Learning online is hard, even if they have everything going in their favor, right? If they have internet access, if they have devices, if they have a place to work, and they're not getting interruptions from, siblings or pets or parents who are working from home. Like, all think of all those conditions that can interrupt students. So even when those conditions are right, the student still has to have the focus to be addressed to their work, and that's where having a partner can help remedy that, right? So seeing that situation, that's what inspired you to create San Antonio Math Include. So I was wondering if you could kind of tell us sort of the origin story about San Antonio Math Include.
Yeah, definitely. So basically, when I was in like sixth grade, my mom started signing me up for a bunch of clubs at school, most notably the math club at school. And, at that time, I wasn't particularly inclined towards math. Maybe I was as good as it as any other student would be, but I didn't particularly like it, or was I particularly talented at it? None of that. But yeah, she signed me up. I did not want to go at all. I was like, why are you doing this to me? I don't want to do this. But, as I started spending more and more time with, my classmates in math club, sort of learning how to basically think about problems differently, I found out that there's this immense world of mathematics that goes far beyond anything that I've ever learned at school, anything that I could have ever dreamed of learning at school. And so, I started doing like math competitions, like math counts, AMC, that sort. But the thing is, in San Antonio, there aren't many resources to get sort of extensive help or extensive like access to other students who share your, passion for math. And so, what my mom and I would do, we would have to drive to Austin like every month basically to sort of get those resources, find other students who like doing math as much as me, who are willing to take the time to sit down and do like practice competitions, things like that. And so that was obviously incredibly time inefficient. And even though we were lucky enough to be able to have that time to spare to drive all the way to Austin, I realized that many, many students in San Antonio wouldn't have that option. So I sort of wanted to basically make it so that anyone who liked math could do math without, having to go all the way to Austin, to Dallas, to Houston, anything like that. And so that was basically how San Antonio Math Include was born.
So, and is that kind of how you found the other tutors to team up? So I was looking at the page on the website. Actually, it's good excuse to pop up the website. So it's mathinclude.org, which and you built the website, right?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, along with math, I also love coding. I've always found coding to basically be an extension of math. So yeah, it's always been super interesting to me as well.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a great website. It's easy to use. It's very clear, easy to navigate. But there's a page of the tutors. I noticed that there's some of them have already graduated. So are they mostly other basis students? Are they like just like kids you met who love math and were interested also in these competitions that you were doing?
Yeah, so at first, I was really only able to find other tutors at basis, especially really only at my math club itself. There were maybe like 6 of us tutors at the beginning, teaching around 40 students or so. But then I started, getting better at like networking, things like that. I got in contact with like the head of my school and the head of like surrounding schools, trying to advertise the opportunity to tutors and high school students, who wanted to tutor. And also, as I was also like forming my own community of other students who love math outside of basis, outside of San Antonio, outside of the US even. I would go to many of these like math camps, and I would meet these brilliant, brilliant students who really share that same passion for math and really wanted to spread that passion for math like I did. And so, yeah, I kind of like put them into the loop, brought them in with San Antonio Math Include, and they've been incredibly supportive of both me and San Antonio Math Include to this day. So, yeah, I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's real power in what you've done because, and I see this as a nonprofit leader, and founding a nonprofit was not part of the plan. I studied history in college because I love to write. I went to law school. I thought I wanted to be a lawyer. I thought maybe I would be a judge someday or something. And then it turned out I did not like working in a law firm, but I still use my persuasive writing skills. I realized that in order to share more information about education, I needed to form a nonprofit so that I could receive grants and grow a team. And but it's been a huge learning curve for me because it wasn't what I set out to do. And but the bigger your team and the more people that you can communicate about what your mission is and get on board with helping, it makes the impact so tremendous. And I think that's what is also impressive about what you've done is you've been able to scale it, and find students who are it's all student powered, and by recruiting more tutors, you're able to help more students to get, make progress in math in spite of the pandemic. So I just want to like, as somebody who, sort of works in this space, in the nonprofit space, that scale and building your team are big challenges, and you've done a great job with that.
Definitely, they are super difficult at first. It's super, you look at all of these nonprofits who have like thousands of upon thousands of employees, and you're like, Someday I want to get to that point, but how am I supposed to do that? There's no really like how to make a nonprofit succeed handbook out there. So yeah, really a lot of it is trial and error. And I'm so glad that I'm able to have succeeded as far as I have today.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I want to ask you more about um, like so in this like so I guess when I became aware of San Antonio Math Include, I think it was at the beginning of the summer of 2021, and I heard about the camps. I shared it in the San Antonio Charter Moms discussion group on Facebook, and encouraged the moms and dads in that group to sign their kids up for camps. So I was wondering if you tell me more about like what do y'all do as far as summer programs, and then what are you doing like during the school year to help students, and like what kind of subject matter are the camps and the tutoring?
Yeah, definitely. So, first off, the summer camps are 3-week long programs, but each student only but each class only lasts for 1 week. So, basically the 3 weeks is like right at the beginning, like the end of summer, like a week before school starts. And sort of the reasoning behind that is so that we could, kind of better refresh students' memories during the summer. Because I know as much as anyone does, it's so incredibly hard to remember all the content that you learned over the summer. Like you'll go into the summer knowing like everything there is to know about like physics, and then you'll go into the next grade and be like, what is gravity? I don't even know anymore. So yeah, as much as anyone, I know how stressful that can be going into the new school year, having forgotten everything. And so we wanted to make it so that the camps are kind of placed right before the school starts so that kids can, go through and refresh their memory about everything that they learned the previous school year. Maybe if they have the time, get ahead on some of the classes that they're going to do the next school year. And yeah, really all that stuff to basically help them feel more prepared and feel more confident in their abilities going into the next school year. And so, what we teach at both the summer and school year camps is basically a complete K to 12 curriculum. During the school year, there tends to be more classes just because there's normally more tutors available during the school year. But basically, there's like classes for like kindergartners and through first grade, classes for second through third grade, classes for like third to fourth grade, fourth to fifth grade, and so on, kind of like those groupings. And then we also have kind of specific like classes for different kind of focuses. We also have like a specific competition math class for anyone that wants to kind of get into competition math but doesn't really know how to start. Recently we just collaborated with the MAA, the Mathematics Association of America, on that, which really was a dream. Like I've been doing their competitions forever. So getting to collaborate with them was the best opportunity. And we also have for younger kids a math games and fun class so that really they're able to see how fun and how interesting that math can really be. It's not just learning like the multiplication table every year up until like algebra 1 in high school. It can be so much more than that. You can have different puzzles and shapes that make up, one big beautiful picture basically. And so yeah, we try to have classes that appeal to every like demographic that there is. Either you want to like get ahead, you want to catch up, anything like that, you want to go deeper into math, you want to just stay on like the fun side. Yeah, we try to make it as large and widespread of a course curriculum as possible.
Yeah, well, I think it's how great that like you used to have to drive to Austin for competition math, and now like you can offer it to families, kids in San Antonio, or it's a virtual class. So it's making it accessible to so many more kids. And I love the idea of the like math games and fun because like I feel like in the like okay like when I was growing up, which was like the 80s and 90s, um, that's the kind of thing that maybe, like, the GT kids could get to do, like, there'd be a pullout, but only some kids had access to it, and that's kinda sad because I feel like, sometimes with tracking, like, they might miss some kids who would really love that, and it might ignite their passion for math, but, if they just didn't get identified for it, maybe they were having a bad day and had a meltdown on testing day, then they're blocked from that. And that's so much lost potential, because there is so much beauty in math. And it's for me, it's been more like like growing up, I just kind of did the formulas and like I got good grades in math, but I didn't. Um, it was only in sort of in those enrichment settings where I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like I like deductive reasoning. I like logic. I like, right? I mean, because you talked about computer science being an extension of math, right? That's the beauty in it. And then it's like as an adult, like appreciating math in nature and kind of reading about those like the puzzles and like ratios that occur in nature and things like fractals. Like there's so much amazing stuff out there, but it's not necessarily how math is being taught. So you're opening up excitement and access to math to kids who might not be getting it in their setting, or maybe the pandemic and having to do distance learning, might have sort of alienated them from school and from thinking that they're smart and thinking that they can learn.
Yeah, I mean, really, that is like the main goal of what I'm trying to do with San Antonio Math Include, trying to, just make math accessible to everyone, to really identify everyone who could have a passion in math and not limit that group to like a 5 kids who did well on a single test on a single day, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, because math, like having that foundation in math unlocks so many things you can do with it, right? Like I think you mentioned this in the post. So like it's a universal language and it's the language of science. And so having that foundation in math unlocks so many science courses that kids can do in high school or in college, and career fields that they can do. And like it shouldn't be something that they're afraid of, right? And like too many people see themselves as like, I'm not a math person, or I get really anxious about math. And I feel like the people need to be liberated from that fear so that they can find the beauty in math or use math as a tool for the problem solving that they're trying to do.
Definitely. I really don't think everyone realizes how much math is really around them at like any point in time and how much math is used in other fields like engineering, physics, chemistry, anything like that. Like they really do need to know math to be able to do practically any other STEM course that there is.
Yeah. And as I write about education and learn more about education policy, I read education research, and that's relying on statistics. Social science uses statistics to try to reach the truth. But it's there's it's sometimes it's a barrier to understanding what a study is trying to prove or how reliable it is, or why different research methods to compare them to each other. So even in the social sciences, beyond just things like engineering or chemistry or biology, um, math really is everywhere. And I hope that having a better understanding of math can actually bring people together as far as like understanding the pandemic and understanding how medicine works. Math it's really is. If people just understood exponents and a little bit better, they would understand the pandemic better. Well, that's okay. That's an aside, but yeah, you can tell I'm kind of geeking out on this. But okay, so I was wondering, thank you for explaining about how the summer camps work and then the classes that during the school year. I was wondering if you could maybe share some stories about like impact, like students that you've been able to help, maybe feedback that you've gotten from families who participated.
Yeah, definitely. There are like so many stories out there and so many student stories that I wish I could share, but we're we're limited on time here, so I'll just keep it down to the basics. First of all, just like in general, being able to like teach a concept to the students and have them understand like the actual concept behind the formula, that's really great because, you just see like the light bulb pop up in their head where they suddenly realize like where all the letters come from, where all the coefficients come from. And it really is like kind of liberating to know where all of these formulas that you're taught in school come from and know that with this knowledge, with these critical thinking skills, one day you might be the one making these formulas, writing these textbooks for students to learn in future generations. And yeah, and I mean, so many students who, I was teaching in like fourth or fifth grade back when SaMi first started, now I see them around the hallways of Beaches Shavano and I see them during our math club meetings. And I'm like, oh my god, like I'm really glad to have been a part of your math journey, to have hopefully inspired you to see that math really is beautiful and you can do so many things with it beyond just the simple, memorization that you do in school. Besides just earning 100 on a test, you can do so much more with it, and the high of like students stopping me in the hallway saying hi and being like, hey, do you remember me from SaMi like a couple years ago? And I'm like, oh my god, yes I do, like having these students remember me, remember what I taught them, that really is just great, to know that you are having an impact on the students, on the community around you.
So there's what I appreciate what you're saying about like working with students and then encountering them again like in math club. And because I think what's important about that is that like you and the tutors that you organize are putting in this effort to help the students, but then they're bringing their own effort. And right, it's like you're giving them this assist, but then like once they get on that journey and they might decide they want to participate in competitions or they might decide that they want to become tutors, that it means the impact keeps growing and they're bringing their own effort, their own energy to it.
Yeah, definitely. It's great to know that, the students that I'm teaching today might one day be teaching, other students as a part of SAMI, which is really like seeing the impact multiply just right in front of you.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so are there any like events or initiatives on the calendar? I think there's like in the post you mentioned that there's a celebration coming up.
Yeah, so every year SAMI tries to host like a celebration of inclusion and diversity in math on Pi Day, which is March 14th. And, in the past years, we haven't gotten quite to do it at the full extent that we would be able to do it, with COVID and everything being online and all of that. But hopefully, in this following spring, we'll be able to go back to an in person celebration. And normally, what we do there is first, we allow the students to converse with each other. Hopefully, they can find a community of similar, like math loving people, like I was able to do at like celebrations and events like that. And, and then we host like kind of like our own mini competition sort of to students can sign up for at the beginning of the event, and then like an hour in or so we host it, and it really is kind of fun to see the competitive side come out in these students, especially a lot of the time they'll be competing against friends and stuff, so they'll be like, ha, I got 1 point higher than you know so it really is great to kind of see that kind of friendly competitiveness kind of erupt throughout the students that I'm teaching. And and then finally we ended off with like a little mini award ceremony to award the students who have like consistently been to classes, consistently putting in the effort to try to really like understand these concepts and learn the math behind the formulas. And we also give out awards to tutors who have been great, excellent tutors, who have always supported their students and been there for them, and been more than a tutor, really being someone that they can kind of like share their interests with.
Yeah. Well, I hope you get to have an in-person thing. I hope maybe I'll mark Pi Day on my calendar. Actually, I already have Pi Day on my calendar. It's good. We kind of make a big deal of it in my house too. But yeah, I look forward to that. And what you're talking about recognizing the students and the tutors who do the effort. Creating a space for them to have like friendly competition. I think that's great. It's great to have an event that's focused around math and that recognize that math can be something that brings people together, that forms community, and that folks can have fun with.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, like, the number 35 is the same whether you're in the US or whether you're in like China, so it really is like the universal language. Anyone can bond over math no matter what language barriers that they might have.
Yeah, yeah. Well, great. Well, so I want to ask how families can learn more about San Antonio Math Include and how maybe members of the community can support what you're doing with San Antonio Math Include. So, and I have my little banners ready for the website. So
Yeah, well, yeah, first of all, they can go to that website, mathinclude.org, to find, all of the most up-to-date information about SaMi, and they can also email us at sanantoniomathinclude@gmail.com if they have any, like, specific inquiries or anything like that. They can also, follow us on Instagram or Twitter, anything like that. Again, Math Include on Instagram, SA Math Include on Twitter, anything like that. And to really just keep updated with SaMi and all of our events and things that are going on.
Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and put up. This is where folks can donate. So mathinclude.org, donate, and they can support SaMi that way and help you keep growing. So, but from what I can tell, a lot of it is just student power. It's a lot of
Yes,
energy and effort and passion from all the tutors. So, but this is how folks can donate to support. So mathinclude.org/donate. Okay. Well, Hannah, do you have any like closing thoughts you want to offer about math, or sort of what you hope will happen in the near future, like as we're able to gather again in person and students can be in class and learn from their teachers and hopefully get caught up?
I mean, honestly, I just hope that, each student can kind of find what their niche is, whether it be in math and STEM or in, the humanities. It really is important to just find that, one thing that you're willing to put all of your effort towards. Like I found that with math and with San Antonio Math Include. And it really is the one thing that will help you overcome anything, just determination and a strong spirit.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's agreement. Yeah, whatever it is, yeah, whether it's music or sports, but yeah, it's really inspiring how you have found math to be your passion and that it's inspired you to help recruit so many tutors, and you all have had such a big impact on students making progress in math to make up for some of the challenges that they experienced during the pandemic. So well, thank you for joining me on Charter Mom Chats. Thank you for the guest post, and I'm going to keep an eye on San Antonio Math Include and look forward to Pi Day.
Yes, definitely. Thank you guys for inviting me to be on here. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, have a great evening. I hope to see you
You
someday.
too.
Okay. Bye.